For the health and safety of our guests and team members, we're here for you. That means frequently deep cleaning our stores and wiping down carts and baskets after each use, reserving dedicated shopping hours for our most vulnerable guests, providing masks and gloves to our team members, and offering contactless shopping options through the Target app, like Drive Up and same-day delivery. We are here for you now more than ever, and your health and safety is our highest priority. Learn more at target.com/a-bullseye-view.
New Dunkin' Refreshers. Vibrant fruit flavors like strawberry, dragon fruit, and peach passion fruit. B vitamins and energy from green tea. All under 200 calories. Order ahead via the Dunkin' app for a contactless way to order, pay, and pick up in the drive-thru. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Amazon is hiring near you. Earn a competitive wage and start as soon as 7 days. No resume or experience required. Health and safety are a top priority with all of Amazon's roles and sites. Amazon is taking precautions in their buildings to keep people healthy. Go to amazon.com/apply. That's amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey everybody, it's your girl, Shelly Show Williams, Philly's Oprah, host and executive producer of Single on a Saturday Night. And guess what? I've teamed up with DJ Kid Disco. He is the king of the podcast, and we have Zoom Your Podcast Masterclass. Have you ever wanted to start a podcast, learn how to be a Zoom professional, throw a virtual party? Now is the perfect time to learn all about it in Zoom Your Podcast. Go to ShellyShowWilliams.com or go to Instagram at Shelly Show Williams or at DJ Kid Disco. DM us. Find out more information. This class is a must-take class. Hey everybody, it's Shelly Show Williams, Philly's Oprah, executive producer of Urban Expressions, Single on a Saturday Night, but I am a business, social media, and media coach. And if you're looking to show up on social media with a purpose, I have a course for you. Have you been struggling as an entrepreneur, trying to figure out how to get people to engage, how to get people to buy, how to get people just to see you on social media? I have just a course for you. Please go to ShellyShowWilliams.com to find out more.
WGFB-FM radio.
So are you ready?
How it used to be. Something for everyone. 24/7, 365.
Yo, what's good? This is Tracy Lee, and you already know I gets down with the get down, man. Grown Folks Radio all day.
Hi, everybody. This is Cinda Williams, and I am the co-host of the Melanated Morning Show and the host of the PPC Radio Show. And you are listening to Grown Folks Radio.
Grown Folks Radio.
Yes.
Good morning, Sea Breeze.
Good morning. How are you?
It is the Melanated Morning Show. You know, Wednesdays are always busy for us.
Yeah.
Wednesdays are like super, super busy. So, we got some good stuff going on today. We actually have a guest with us. You can introduce him real quick.
We have this awesome guy. Actually, we have two awesome guys joining us today. Bass Facey will be joining us in the second hour, but we're going to bring in Damian Swaby about after the first break. Damian is a filmmaker, producer, awesome brother from London, and both of them they're joining us from first perspective about a host of issues, but especially the Meghan Markle, the royal issue, and then this stuff that's happening with women, how women are protesting over there in a little bit different way. So I'm very excited to talk to them both.
Exactly. So we're going to get started with the latest news. Let's do it like this. Sea Breeze. Let's do it like this.
And the breaking news comes from Atlanta. 8 people are dead after shootings at 3 massage parlors. The suspect caught after a chase in South Georgia tonight. Authorities in Metro Atlanta are trying to see if the 3 scenes are connected.
Yeah, they happened about 5 o'clock this afternoon. These spa murders are about 350 miles north of Jacksonville. 2 spas across the street from each other in Atlanta, then 1 north in Woodstock, Georgia. That's Cherokee County. Joy Purdy's joining us in the newsroom with the latest on this breaking news. Joy, the one suspect caught just a few hours ago.
Yes, Kent Mary. He is 21-year-old Robert Long of Woodstock, arrested after that chase in South Georgia in Crisp County. That's 150 miles south of Atlanta. Take a look at these photos taken by surveillance cameras at the Young's Asian Massage Parlor. This is in Woodstock, where the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office said 4 women were found dead. 1 person was hurt from a shooting there. Around 8:30 tonight, Long was captured after a chase. Investigators are looking into whether he is linked to the Atlanta spa killings at Gold Spa on Piedmont Road and Aromatherapy Spa, which is right across the street from that. 3 were found dead inside Gold Spa, 1 inside Aromatherapy. Atlanta Police Chief Rodney Bryant commented about the victims tonight.
Right now, it appears that all victims are female.
Authorities in Metro Atlanta are trying to see if the 3 scenes are connected.
Yeah, they happened about 5 o'clock this afternoon. These spa murders are about 350 miles north of Jacksonville. 2 spas across the street from each other in Atlanta, then 1 north in Woodstock, Georgia. That's Cherokee County. Joy Purdy's joining us in the newsroom with the latest on this breaking news. Joy, the one suspect caught just a few hours ago.
Yes, Kent Mary. He is 21-year-old Robert Long of Woodstock, arrested after that chase in South Georgia in Crisp County. That's 150 miles south of Atlanta. Take a look at these photos taken by surveillance cameras at the Young's Asian Massage Parlor. This is in Woodstock, where the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office said 4 women were found dead. 1 person was hurt from a shooting there. Around 8:30 tonight, Long was captured after a chase. Investigators are looking into whether he is linked to the Atlanta spa killings at Gold Spa on Piedmont Road and Aromatherapy Spa, which is right across the street from that. 3 were found dead inside Gold Spa, 1 inside Aromatherapy. Atlanta Police Chief Rodney Bryant commented about the victims tonight.
Right now, it appears that all victims are female.
Okay, and race?
It appears that they may be Asian.
Now, police did not say whether the women were employees or customers, but they did say they are just starting this investigation. They have not yet determined a motive. We will, of course, stay on top of this breaking story for you and have more for you on News4Jax at 11 and news4jax.com. Kent?
Thank you, Joy.
Well, now, it seems as if this guy is I don't know what you want to call it.
Just they think that they have to prove this, but they think it might be a hate crime based on the fact that it was 6 out of the 8 people that were murdered were Asian women, and it looks like it was targeted because of their ethnicity. They don't know this for certain yet, but they think it's entirely possible. And I'm sure that we'll find out. I mean, there's been I think they said it's a 396% rise in hate crimes against Asians in the past, since March of last year, when this virus came out. And because our leadership was blaming Chinese people in general instead of being specific about who he believed to blame specifically, unfortunately, we have people that are in our country that don't think. And so they start harming folks. Hi, Robbie. Hi, Earl. And hi, Simpson. Yes, it's a bad thing, man.
You know what? I feel as though it does reflect back on the past so-called alleged leadership, because he was, he was just throwing out very racist views towards the virus, blaming, playing the blame game, the kung fu virus and all of that,
And they kept trying to tell him what he was doing, but of course he wasn't hearing it. He couldn't possibly see how his words. Hi, Robert. It couldn't see how his words could affect anybody. Either that's just arrogance or ignorance. I don't know. But now our Asian, and now mind you, I say Asian. Hey, Barney. I say Asian. I don't say Chinese, because people are so, they don't look at folks. So they say any kind of similarity in Asian people, all Asian people are to blame, even though they're completely different countries. There's so many different countries from Asia represented, Eastern Asia. And it doesn't matter if you're Filipino, Thai, Japanese, Indonesian, anything.
Did you hear about the
you're to
older
blame.
gentleman in New York who was from the Philippines and another guy from Singapore? They got nothing to do with it. None of the people from anywhere in Asia, they don't have anything to this. The government. It's their government, but
it's not. It's China. There are how many different countries in Eastern Asia that are not Chinese, and then the Chinese people didn't have anything to do with it, and definitely Chinese Americans didn't have anything to do with it, or any Eastern Asian Americans have anything to do with it. They all just happen to have a slight dip to their eye, or their color's the right skin, or whatever. So they must be to blame. It's crazy.
But wait a minute. They're at risk just like anybody else is at risk in this country.
Of course. More than they have all these crazy rich Asian movies and all this kind of stuff to push this narrative of rich Singaporeans. And before I lived there for a couple of years, it is a wealthy nation, but it's a really small little country. Most of Asia is not rich. Most of them are it's poverty stricken, and the ones that live in this country, generally, they're known to work very hard. They get far because they work hard, but they don't come here rich. They come here working. So it's terrible. It's terrible. Hi, Valerie. Hi, James. Hi, Bethy Boo. Hi, Tokyo. Hi, Barbara. Hi, George. Chauncey.
It shows the danger of generalizing, or the danger of racist comments like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand. I'm telling you, if we were talking negatively about a part of white America, say we're saying negative things, or blaming certain things on Appalachia, or blaming certain things on, the Yankees, or people in Boston, or whatever, white, they would be tripping hard about that. They will be tripping hard. As a matter of fact, they are tripping hard because they say we're the victim. We're being victimized. White. We're proud of being white, and you guys don't like us, and so we're fighting back. But nobody does that to them. Nobody does that to them. Yeah.
Agreed.
So anyway.
Hold on.
I had a couple of friends. We were all in a little group together, and it was a multicultural group who was different ethnicities, different races represented. And when all of this came out, one of them decided to completely flip out online publicly about China and the Chinese people. And one of our members was Chinese, and he was horrible about it. He was like, it's just my opinion. This is my opinion, you know, and honestly, he was from an Eastern Asian country himself, but it wasn't China. And then he didn't understand it when those in charge asked him to step down because of his racist rhetoric. And he's like, how can I be racist? I'm a minority. And it's like, racist rhetoric is racist rhetoric, dude. And
No matter what.
And the Chinese girl that was in the group, she was like, I can't be involved in a multicultural group with this guy when he's shaming and blaming an entire population of people that is not, you know, have nothing to do with any of this stuff. So it's just more of the freaking same, you know. It's just more of the same. And
speaking of nothing that has anything to do with it, let's get to the Derek Chauvin trial real quick.
Yes.
Because now the complete fuckery starts. I don't know how else to put it. And we knew it was going to get to this. So it seems as if Mr. Chauvin's attorney is trying to have them bring up George Floyd's 2017, I think it is, 2019 arrest for him, something to do with drugs. What the hell does that have to do with the fact that this man put his knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds and killed him? What does that have to do with it?
Everybody knows it has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it, but that is what they do. They demonize the victim. You know, a lot of folks have been to jail or had arrests for different things, but that does not equal a capital punishment. We don't murder people because of something they did 2 years ago, and even if they did it 2 days ago, you're not going to murder someone because they had drugs on them. Yeah, character assassination, Chauncey. Exactly. That's what they do. That's why, you know, I was involved in this project, writing this script. It never happened, which burns me, but about the story of a person who had been killed by police. And my whole thing was show their humanity, and that's it. Just deal with their humanity, because that is the problem so often. You see white folks and you know that they're human. We don't have to work on figuring out their humanity. Matter of fact, we'll find every excuse for the stuff that they do, where they're just frustrated, where they're just upset. Well, they feel like they've been forgotten. But you're going to just destroy a man after murdering him. And then after the fact, destroy his honor, destroy his character too. That's just typical.
Mm-hmm. So yesterday, President Biden was in my neck of the woods. So to
I
speak.
heard. What happened?
Well, let's just play the clip, shall we?
We shall.
We shall. Shout out to Biden. Shout out to Chester, Pennsylvania. He was close to us.
Now, President Joe Biden is here in the Keystone State. This was Air Force One on the runway at Philadelphia International Airport a few hours ago. And then after landing, Biden headed to Chester, Delaware County to highlight how the American Rescue Plan will help small businesses. He's also trying to build momentum for his next legislative effort, a sweeping infrastructure program to improve the country's roads.
300,000 Pennsylvanians lost jobs. 300,000. And in Delaware County alone, just in 2020, 19,000. So when we wrote this rescue plan, they were part of it insisting that we have the Inspector General to make sure the money goes exactly where it's supposed to go. And so we're in a position where it's going to bring immediate relief, $1,400 to 85% of the American public.
Today was Biden's first visit to Pennsylvania as president. And Jeff Cole live in Chester, where you spoke to folks who can't wait to see that stimulus money come their way. Jeff.
Jason, if President Biden is looking for a community to help, he's found it in Chester City, battling poverty and crime. The city has lost control of its own finances and has a $20 million hole in its police pension. At midday, barricades already lined 9th and Townsend streets on the Chester City and Township line. A massive security vehicle overlooked the scene, and residents thought of what they'd say to the president if they were to meet him.
You look around, there's no real good jobs in Chester, where a man can raise a family and do well.
So you think it is a bust town, not a boom town, but a bust?
A bust, yes, it is a bust town now.
Biden, whose motorcade rolled in just before 3:30, has come to tout his $1.9 trillion COVID stimulus plan signed last week. He's chosen what Chester's mayor says is a female and minority-owned Chester Township flooring business to talk up the plan expected to funnel nearly $32 million into the coffers of this long-struggling Delaware County city.
It helps our families when they receive their checks. It helps our schools, helps our kids get back in school.
Chester City is battling poverty and crime while a receiver has taken control of its finances in a bid to avoid bankruptcy. City leaders want to use some of the stimulus money to rehire workers.
We had to lay people off and we haven't brought all our people back yet. And so some of that money can be used to pay salaries to get some of those very key people back.
Joyce Samuel looked out from her home directly across the street from where Biden will appear. The 66-year-old wants her COVID vaccination and a better future for the community where she's spent her life. What would you tell him about Chester?
That we need more businesses, we need more police so we can combat, crime that's going on.
Now, the receiver that's controlling Chester City's finance will have something to say on that $32 million it's likely to get from the stimulus package. They may not use that money, however, for their problems with the police pension. Delaware County will also receive some $109 million from this stimulus plan. Live here in Chester City, Jeff Cole, Fox 29 News.
All right, well, Delaware County is getting 1.9. Can I just get my 1,400?
Me too.
Because I'm a resident of Delaware County. Can I get my 1,400?
I am too, man. I'm like looking every day. I'm starting to feel desperate.
Oh man, what's going on? I mean, I'm not being greedy. Can I just get my 1,400? Shit. I ain't, No, I think it's cool to have Biden here in this area. Biden always been, in the Delaware, in the Philadelphia, Jersey, Delaware area. We always had love for Biden, when he was senator, because,
Yeah, I think this tour that they're on, they need to go down to those states where they might not have such popularity, because I think most people, 70% of the people, are all for this plan. It's those 30% that they need to educate and convince. And they might get yelled at, booed, heckled. It doesn't matter. They need to go there and in spite and just love these people in spite of themselves and tell them the truth about it and see where they go. I think it's very interesting, that the people that are the most hesitant to take this vaccination are white men. And even Trump went on Fox talking about, he and Melania got their vaccination to try to convince them to get it. And they're like, some people say it's because they already had COVID, and now they're proving that if you've had COVID, then you do have antibodies that protect you. Of course, timing is so short, we don't know how long those antibodies last. Yeah, Chauncey said even though they might get booed, he's sure that those folks are going to cash those checks. That is the
You know,
truth.
and we got to go to break in about 4 minutes. But I got this one question, and I asked this question the other day on social media, on Facebook, and I'm going to keep on asking this question. For those Biden haters, you going to send that check back?
Of course not.
For those of y'all that hate him so much, what you going to do with that dough?
I think they're going to spend that dough. That's what I think.
For all those Biden haters that are on unemployment, what you going to do with that $300?
I think that those people they have it in their minds. Well, Trump suggested that in the first place. Trump said he's just copying, blah blah blah. You know, they'll have a good excuse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But what they don't realize is that Trump actually brought that up to try to, in his own way, filibuster the original bill. If you remember, they put it on the desk. He said, "Nah, I'm not signing until you give everybody $2,000." You know damn well he didn't want to give everybody no $2,000.
I think Trump would have given everybody $5,000. He doesn't care about that kind of stuff. He just wants to be liked, whatever that means. If he can make his base happy, give him $10,000 every month. Doesn't care.
And guess what? Guess we'll spend it proudly. Go ahead,
I love Trump.
What? I'll be the same asshole. I spend his money, but
my cousin said devil's advocate. I didn't send my Trump check back either. And I can't stand that dude. Right? He said, I hate that dude. Yeah.
No, I'm just asking. Like, I ain't trying to get y'all business, but y'all hate him so much. What you gonna do with that check?
You know what they're gonna do, just like you gonna do. Just like I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pay my dang on bills.
You're gonna see it right at Walmart with me.
I think I'm gonna pay some bills, and I might buy me some grown folks radio gear and stuff.
Listen here, girly, your stuff is on its way, okay? Girly. Speaking of which, because we got started late, don't make me here, girly. Your stuff. I got your address, girly. So your stuff is on your way, so shush. Stop putting me on the thumb. Why do women do that? They try to get. I guess I'll just have to pay for it myself. That's like crap my wife does.
My cousin said he's using his money. He's going to Cancun. And Chauncey said, it's our money anyway. We pay taxes, and it's not a handout from anyone. All right.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna go see the weed man. But we gotta go. We gotta go to break, and we're gonna come back with this.
I am feeling that. I am feeling that with you right now. I don't like smoking, but I got some stories.
I'm gonna go see the weed man. You know what I mean?
All right, let's take our break, and we're gonna bring back Damian Swaby.
Yes, we sure are. All righty then. We'll be back.
Yep. The Melanated Morning Show. Morning Show with DJ Kid Disco and co-host Cinda Williams. WGFB FM radio.
So are you ready?
Yeah. How it used to be. Something for everyone. 24/7, 365.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For the health and safety of our guests and team members, we're here for you. That means frequently deep cleaning our stores and wiping down carts and baskets after each use, reserving dedicated shopping hours for our most vulnerable guests, providing masks and gloves to our team members, and offering contactless shopping options through the Target app, like Drive Up and same-day delivery. We are here for you now more than ever, and your health and safety is our highest priority. Learn more at target.com/a bullseye view.
New Dunkin' Refreshers. Vibrant fruit flavors like strawberry, dragon fruit, and peach passion fruit. B vitamins and energy from green tea. All under 200 calories. Order ahead via the Dunkin' app for a contactless way to order, pay, and pick up in the drive-thru. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Amazon is hiring near you. Earn a competitive wage and start as soon as 7 days. No resume or experience required. Health and safety are a top priority with all of Amazon's roles and sites. Amazon is taking precautions in their buildings to keep people healthy. Go to amazon.com/apply. That's amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey everybody, it's your girl, Shelly Shell Williams, Philly's Oprah, host and executive producer of Single on a Saturday Night. And guess what? I've teamed up with DJ Kid Disco. He is the king of the podcast, and we have Zoom Your Podcast Masterclass. Have you ever wanted to start a podcast, learn how to be a Zoom professional, throw a virtual party? Now is the perfect time to learn all about it in Zoom Your Podcast. Go to ShellyShellWilliams.com or go to Instagram at ShellyShellWilliams or at DJ Kid Disco. DM us. Find out more information. This class is a must-take class. Hey everybody, it's Shelly Shell Williams, Philly's Oprah, executive producer of Urban Expressions, Single on a Saturday Night. But I am a business, social media, and media coach. And if you're looking to show up on social media with a purpose, I have a course for you. Have you been struggling as an entrepreneur, trying to figure out how to get people to engage, how to get people to buy, how to get people just to see you on social media? I have just a course for you. Please go to ShellyShellWilliams.com to find out more.
WGFB-FM Radio.
So are you ready? Yeah.
How it used to be. Something for everyone. 24/7, 365.
Yo, what's good? This is Tracy Lee, and you already know I gets down with the get down, man. Grown Folks Radio all day.
Hi, everybody. This is Cinda Williams, and I am the co-host of the Melanated Morning Show and the host of the PPC Radio Show. And you are listening to Grown Folks Radio.
The Melanated Morning Show with DJ Kid Disco and co-host Cinda Williams.
Damien. So can you introduce Damien real quick, and then I want you guys both to see this clip.
All right, Damien. Hi, everybody. This
Hello.
is Damien. I don't have you been on this show before? Yeah, you've been on this show before. Yeah. Yeah, you've been on this show before. For those of you that haven't met Damien, Damien is I call him a friend, even though we've not met each other face to face. And I'm hoping to get to London so I can meet you. He is a filmmaker, documentary filmmaker, and just a straight up cool dude, and a whole bunch more podcaster. That's how we met. I did his podcast twice. And he did mine once, and I'm gonna have him on the PPC radio show. Anyway, blah blah blah. He's a great guy, really super smart, and has a very unique perspective about things that are happening in his neck of the woods. And considering,
thank you.
We welcome everybody properly here. What's up, Danny? Brother?
I'm good, man. Thanks for the intro. Really appreciate it. Hopefully I'm going to be able to, I was supposed to be over in America this year, but COVID and this pandemic sent everything into a city place for me. But yeah, other than that, I'm getting by like we all are. I was listening earlier. I wonder if Biden can send me one of those checks.
Okay, that's a good question. I'm still waiting for mine, and I live here, so I say you can't have nothing till I get my.
Right.
Can I say
check yet?
Before we go too deep, Jonathan asked a question that I think I would like to hear the answer to. My cousin Jonathan said, "Do you think convicted inmates deserve a stimulus check?"
Oh, that's an interesting one. Do they, if they are not earning anything from anything else outside of prison, which I doubt they are, some of them may have homes that they rent out or things like that. If they're having issues with that type of income that they have, I can see why they may deserve a check. But if not, and they're in prison and they're not earning any money, or they're not, or what I should say, they don't have the capabilities to earn any money because they're in prison, I don't see how they can get something that they're not able to have anyway. That would be my take on it.
What do you think, Eddie?
Here's the thing. It's a double-edged sword with that, because first of all, they did say all Americans.
Yes.
Though they're incarcerated, and I'm speaking from an incarcerated person's point of view, I am still an American.
Did you pay taxes? Did you pay taxes while you were in prison?
Hell no.
Can you? Yeah, so you can't pay taxes. Yeah.
But who pay taxes are still getting the checks. The seniors, the people on disability, they get checks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the parents get money on behalf of the children.
Oh, wow. Do they? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that it should. This is the way I think it should go. I think that if you're incarcerated and you have a child that you were supporting before you became incarcerated or whatever, it should go to them. It should go to the children.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, some people still have families, even though they're in prison, they have families, and their families shouldn't suffer because they're not there, because they're in prison, if they did it or not, their families should still receive help. So, I don't know.
And I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I'm gonna keep it real. In the penitentiary, especially if you're a lifer, you're gonna get that in a week anyway. From everything else, all the other hustles, if you understand what I'm getting with. It's more money. It's just as much dope and everything else being sold in prison behind bars that's being sold on the streets. Believe that. So the average cat ain't really, believe it or not, I know this sound messed up what I'm saying, but the average, especially if you got a nickel or more in the pen, you getting money some kind of way. You got to hustle some kind of way. Trust me. It's the only way they get by. You ain't getting that much money at commissary to begin with. That little 20, 40, you're only allowed to get $60 on your books.
See, my cousin says all qualified. He didn't put quotations about it, but that's the way I'm hearing it. All qualified Americans. So I guess qualified is the question. What does that mean? Like, for instance, my daughter, she was with me since COVID hit. She came home in June, and she was with me until last week, right? And she didn't get the little $600. I could have used that, but because of her age, she's 19. So even though she didn't work, she's a student. She was off for school. I didn't get any help for her. She didn't get that stimulus. Didn't come to me. It didn't go to her father. So there's lots of people that are being ignored. And she actually went on IRS.gov, and it said she wasn't eligible. So I'm like,
I ain't get the 600 yet.
Yeah, but you can, because you're gonna do your taxes and you'll get your money. But she didn't have a job. You see what I'm saying? She's in that little group of kids that they're still, like, she's still on her father's taxes because he's paying for school, but she stayed with me, and so all of that was on me, the financial, taking care of her financially. But because she's 19, I got nothing for her, he got nothing for her, and she got nothing. So,
that's harsh.
So I'm like, okay, so what? There are little pockets of people that are being ignored through this, and if we're going to include people that are in prison, we're also going to include those folks too. I just think
everybody should, if you're in America, first of all, the IRS is full of shit, and I'm gonna tell you why. Y'all talking about y'all can't find me because I ain't filed my taxes. Y'all talking about y'all can't find me to give you my dough. But y'all found me to send me that $11,000 bill last week. You fucker. That's some bullshit. Y'all found me to send me that letter? 11,000. I said, damn. Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so I'm sorry. I just wanted to cover that a little bit because I thought it was a good question. And there are definitely some ideas about it.
So I wanna play this clip from Senator Ron Johnson. You racist bastard, you.
Oh gosh. Oh, do we have to? Oh Lord.
I want Damien's take on this.
Okay. Well.
You racist bastard, you.
You're welcome, Jonathan. Good question. Thank you.
Now, President Joe Biden is here in the Keystone State. This was Air Force One on the runway.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong video.
Wrong video.
Look at that shit. My bad. Wrong video.
To the increasing pressure on a Republican senator to step down over what many say were racist comments about Black Lives Matter protesters. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has the very latest now from Capitol Hill. Elizabeth, good morning to you.
Good morning, Whit. Well, Senator Ron Johnson has called the rioters who stormed this building friendly and jovial. But these latest comments go a step further in what some are calling blatant racism.
This morning, Wisconsin Republican Senator Ron Johnson facing growing calls to resign over comments he made about the January 6th Capitol riots. In a radio show clip sparking public outcry, Johnson saying he didn't feel threatened by the pro-Trump crowd storming the building, calling them patriots, then adding this.
Had the tables been turned and President Trump won the election, and those were tens of thousands of Black Lives Matter and Antifa protesters, I might have been a little concerned.
Democratic lawmakers accusing Johnson of racism.
Black Lives Matter did protest peacefully at the United States Capitol, and they did not cause trauma, injury, and loss of life, nor did they maim U.S. Capitol Police officers in the way that these so-called patriots did.
Federal prosecutors say more than 300 individuals have been charged in connection to the January 6th attack that left more than 5 people, including a Capitol Police officer, dead. Congressman Ted Lieu pointing out that the rioters were mostly white, tweeting, "Dear Senator Ron Johnson, your white skin color would not have saved you from the white mob." But in a statement to ABC News, Johnson doubling down on the controversial remarks, appearing to cite a study claiming hundreds of Black Lives Matter protests over the summer turned violent, and saying, "That's why I would have been more concerned." The authors of that study telling ABC News it's not an accurate portrayal of the findings, saying 93% of the protests were peaceful.
Now, Senator Johnson's seat is up for re-election next year, and he hasn't yet announced if he intends to run. Dan?
Elizabeth, thank you very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.
Racist.
We always give credit to wherever we get our news source from as well. Thanks, GMA. Damien.
Wow. Well, watching and listening, I'm guessing that before it got to the end of the video, I guess that he's someone who wants to be re-elected. Because the lady did say he's up for re-election in a year. And he has a certain base that he wants to appeal to, that he probably believes in more than just politically and financially. So he said what he said, which is simply from the not just those images you've showed me, because our news stations covered that story as well. It's clear that that wasn't a peaceful, well-to-do type protest that happened that he's condoning. It was dangerous, and the policeman died. So that guy, is it Ron Johnson? He's lying.
So, Damien, a lot has happened since you came to hang out with us last summer. I'm sorry, Seabreeze. I got a whole bunch of. I want your take on the stuff that's happened from the UK perspective before we get to the palace. 'Cause you explained it, how it all happens back then. But what's your take on the insurrection?
Looking at it, with all due respect to America as a whole, it looked very crazy, because in our own country, like over here, it would be so hard to get that close to like a building such as that. And even though there's not as many guns and stuff here, it wouldn't be possible for that to have happened unless people were prepared to let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's a picture of a guy sitting on a desk, I think it's things like that. The security is just insane. I mean, I've been to the House of Parliament and filmed before, and it's like going through an airport to get in there. So you have to put everything, in trays, and they pat you down and all the rest of it. So it'd be so hard to get in and just behave like that. So when I saw it, I kind of thought, okay, this is weird and a bit crazy. And it was very sad as well to think that people would spend their time behaving like that. And from what we've seen from Johnson, it's a case of there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, they're just letting off steam. They're patriots. Right. Whereas if they looked a different way, it might be a case of, shoot them.
So okay. You live in the UK. What was you guys' reaction? People in the UK that you deal with when y'all found out that Biden won.
Oh gosh, the reaction, people. It's funny because it's like when Obama won and when Biden won, it was almost like they become prime ministers here.
Really?
Like people were so happy. People, especially Obama, people would. Mm-hmm. Well, over the moon, which means they were so happy. But they were happy Biden won because, and I think if it was Biden, if it was Elizabeth Warren, if it was Andrew Yang, no matter who it was just not Trump and someone who's completely not like Trump. That was the biggest thing that people over here wanted to see. And Americans may not necessarily realize this, but our foreign policy is tied so deeply with your own. And so many other of our ideas and political beliefs seem to be, almost like, mirror images of each other. It's important that the most powerful country in the world has someone who's a bit more stable, a bit more diplomatic, and a bit more well-to-do. Otherwise, it doesn't just look bad for America, it kind of looks bad for Britain too. I don't know if you saw the images. I know you mentioned we'd speak about the palace later, but there's images of Trump with the Queen. I don't know if you've seen some of those when they're walking around the palace. And it's a lot of Brits didn't like that. They didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny they didn't like that because of what the Queen's supposed to mean and represent. And Trump is a lot of what some anti-British people think of Americans, like some anti-American people think, where they be like, oh, they're all brash and loud and rude and arrogant and blah, blah, blah. And then there's Trump literally with the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the Queen and England are what they say they are, they should have said, under no certain terms will the Queen be sharing pleasantries with President Trump.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I saw it. Otherwise, what does it all mean?
So, speaking of the Queen, go ahead, C. Reese. Let's do it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off.
Okay, but before we do, I think we should mention our comments. Chauncey was saying that making it very easily to get close and inside. Hell, some of the cops who were supposed to be guarding were actually opening the gates to let them in. They said they had help from inside, Damien. That's why some, including government officials and police. And then Buddy said Trump won 49% of American voters. That's overwhelmingly close. And if he was a betting man, he'd play that card if he was a racist, what Johnson said. And hi, Robbie. Gotta say hi. So I just wanted to, they're pretty much just explaining how that happened in the first place. How it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't there were people that on the inside that were helping this entire attack. It wasn't a riot. It really wasn't. It was an attack. There's a difference. A riot is when people get together and get emotional and then start acting crazy, and it's not premeditated. This was a premeditated action by militarized and very smart people that were working for, they thought, the president of the United States. So,
but you know what question I keep asking, Seabreeze?
What
did they plan to gain from this?
They believed that they could do this. They believed they could stop the vote. There were so many lies being told to these folks through different news sources and online and all, and by inferences from those in charge. They believed that if they made these moves, they could stop the count of the vote, that could change the outcome. They really believed they could do that because that's what they were told that they could.
Oh, wait a minute, Damien, before we get to the palace, I want to ask you your opinion from a UK resident. Do you know anything about QAnon? Are you up on that?
QAnon, sorry, no.
Wow.
No, sorry. What does that mean? Sorry. I may have heard of it in a different way, but what does it mean?
No, you would have heard of it if you knew what it was. Yeah, QAnon is this group that got started on social media. It was a pro-Trump, anti-everybody else group that comes up with these crazy ideas and spreads false narrative controversies to work people up and frighten people. It's a fear-mongering tool. And like the Hillary Clinton eats babies and a pizza place, or they just insane conspiracies that people, including some of our Congress people, believe in. It's yeah.
But the fact that he doesn't know about it tells you how much steam they actually really have.
Yeah, I know about the alt-right and certain movements, but QAnon, no. I don't.
They get what they deserve. Okay.
Yeah, they think they're Satan worshiping, and it's really nutty. It's nutty, and it's. I'm sure you haven't heard of it because you're black.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
you're not in that algorithm. You're not in that algorithm. The only reason why we've heard of it is because it's been all in our news.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
They don't target us. They target the good old boys.
Oh, I definitely see. They're talking to Ron.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get to the palace. Damien. Damn, we got 5 minutes.
Exactly. We got 3 minutes. So
yeah. Be glad you don't know about QAnon.
No, I am. I mean, I just think it's sad you said congressmen listen to them. Because they should be different.
And they got voted in after it was known that they were QAnon people. Yes, that's how prevalent it is.
We got one. We got one that says, "Was the Jew lasers shooting laser beams out the sky, made by Jewish people?"
Yeah. Look it up. You'll laugh, but you'll cry too, because you'll think it's absolutely ridiculous. But then at the same time, you'll be like, "What in the world is wrong with people? They'll believe anything to be right."
Yeah, but these people, were they?
And they're Trump's biggest supporters.
Where are they based? These congressmen. Like
which state? One of them.
It's a base of people. It's like the Jim Jones cult. It's a cult. It really is.
Well, he's talking about the Congress. The main one that we know of is Marjorie Taylor Greene. And where's she from? Is she Arizona?
No, she's Georgia, I believe.
Georgia. She's Georgia. Yeah. So she's the number one. And now she's saying, of course, I don't really believe that stuff anymore, but everything right up to her winning put her in the belief category.
Yeah. So she just doesn't believe it when the camera's on her.
She doesn't believe it now that she's in the Senate, and they were talking about stripping all of her responsibilities and.
Well,
all
they
of that.
did. They stripped her from all
Yeah.
the committees.
Well,
and
the
everything.
Democrats did. The
Oh, I
Democrats
see.
did. Yeah.
Well, it's, hey, Sin. Yeah, it's that part. Right. That part.
Yeah, Chauncey said the senators, I don't know, senators, House members from Georgia, Texas, and Florida.
Figures. It figures. Texas, and we're going to get into all that. Speaking of Texas with their fraud claims, here we go again.
Because I thought there was quite big populations in black populations as well in those areas.
There are.
Yeah, I
That's
thought
why
it'd be
they-
hard for someone like that.
That's why they're freaking out so much. No, the way that they've gerrymandered the districts, they've gerrymandered it so that the smaller rural parts where there's quite a few good old boys, that's a nice way to say it, they have more political power than the black communities. The
I
way
see.
they've drawn the district lines.
Mhm.
And they're trying to worse now. It's insane. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Good morning, Sin. We ready to take this time for a quick break, and so when we come back, we will talk about the palace. Damien, we want your perspective, because you're there. So
I'm there. I'm here. I'm there, and I'm here. I've been there.
So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 3.5. Melanated Morning Show. I am DJ Kid Disco, Sea Breeze, and we're here with our special guest, Damian Swaby. We'll be back in 3.5.
The Melanated Morning Show with DJ Kid Disco and co-host Cinda Williams. WGFB FM radio.
So are you ready? Yeah.
How it used to be. Something for everyone. 24/7, 365.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
For the health and safety of our guests and team members, we're here for you. That means frequently deep cleaning our stores and wiping down carts and baskets after each use, reserving dedicated shopping hours for our most vulnerable guests, providing masks and gloves to our team members, and offering contactless shopping options through the Target app, like Drive Up and same-day delivery. We are here for you now more than ever, and your health and safety is our highest priority. Learn more at target.com/a-bullseye-view.
New Dunkin' Refreshers. Vibrant fruit flavors like strawberry, dragon fruit, and peach passion fruit. B vitamins and energy from green tea. All under 200 calories. Order ahead via the Dunkin' app for a contactless way to order, pay, and pick up in the drive-thru. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Amazon is hiring near you. Earn a competitive wage and start as soon as 7 days. No resume or experience required. Health and safety are a top priority with all of Amazon's roles and sites. Amazon is taking precautions in their buildings to keep people healthy. Go to amazon.com/apply. That's amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey everybody, it's your girl, Shelly Shell Williams, Philly's Oprah, host and executive producer of Single on a Saturday Night. And guess what? I've teamed up with DJ Kid Disco. He is the king of the podcast, and we have Zoom Your Podcast Masterclass. Have you ever wanted to start a podcast, learn how to be a Zoom professional, throw a virtual party? Now is the perfect time to learn all about it in Zoom Your Podcast. Go to ShellyShellWilliams.com or go to Instagram at ShellyShellWilliams or at DJ Kid Disco. DM us. Find out more information. This class is a must-take class. Hey everybody, it's Shelly Shell Williams, Philly's Oprah, executive producer of Urban Expressions, Single on a Saturday Night. But I am a business, social media, and media coach. And if you're looking to show up on social media with a purpose, I have a course for you. Have you been struggling as an entrepreneur, trying to figure out how to get people to engage, how to get people to buy, how to get people just to see you on social media? I have just a course for you. Please go to ShellyShellWilliams.com to find out more.
WGFB-FM radio.
So are you ready?
How it used to be. Something for everyone. 24/7, 365.
Yo, what's good? This is Tracy Lee, and you already know I gets down with the get down, man. Grown Folks Radio all day.
Hi, everybody. This is Cinda Williams, and I am the co-host of the Melanated Morning Show and the host of the PPC Radio Show. And you are listening to Grown Folks Radio.
Melanated Morning Show with DJ Kid Disco and co-host Cinda Williams.
All right, so we're back. Real quick, Damien, before we get to the palace, we get ready to get into the palace right now. Can I ask? I want your opinion on something. As far as the palace goes, this is a real important question. You think they got good weed at the palace?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Oh wow!
They might, but I couldn't imagine it. But I could be wrong. I mean, they could be smoking right now for all I know.
You think the Queen get high? Used to get high? Like you think she ever smoked in her life?
I don't think she's done probably anything anyone else has done outside of that palace.
Oh, it sucks to be high.
Yeah.
Oh.
It would be, I've got the visual of her smoking weed now. I want to film something like that.
So, okay, well, I will be visiting the palace. No time. Okay, so Seabreeze, let's get into this.
Yeah, I mean, Damien, you can tell me your perspective of this. I mean, we've talked about this stuff because Americans love that stuff. The cases and queens and blah blah blahs. Why do you think people are so surprised by racism there? I mean, were people there surprised by her Meghan Markle's proclamations?
Well, the main problem is over here is that you don't talk about race in certain ways, and you don't have honest conversations about race in British institutions. Now, the highest of the high is the royal family, over here. That's, you don't say anything bad, you don't touch them or whatever. Unless it's the tabloid press who sometimes really go for it. They really attack them. So when she comes out and says, so when the princess comes out, Merkel says about racism, people over here don't want to hear that. And they especially don't want to hear that from an American. That's, it's like you're not even part of the Commonwealth. You're not even the black person born here. How dare you? Who do you think you are coming over here telling us about our royal family? That's where I think it got deeper than deep, because there's all of these kind of class issues that come into play, because class over here is everything. So your class is pretty much determined by how far down you are from the royal family. So, for example, I would be in a situation where someone would say, my auntie is Lord or blah, 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 blah. And I'm filming with that person, and that person doesn't have any talent. But because she's attached to an institution in a way I can never be, she will always be working. And over here, someone who is not from a certain class and is not from a certain race, marrying into that family, there's going to be loads of problems. And loads of people here are just not going to want to address that and be honest about that. Because class and race are kind of like, shh, we don't talk about it. That's how it is here.
So you think she was out of her league to begin with when she first married him? When she married Harry, she was just, it was not going to be good from the beginning.
No, it wasn't going to be good. I don't. My main thing is, it's not my main thing, but I don't understand how. But it's hard for me. Okay, she's American, so she's not lived here like I have, for example. So, but being from this country, you just know going into certain institutions, there's going to be certain problems depending on what level you go in and what level you reach. So for her to be a princess, to have children, for the Queen's grandkids to be of color to a certain degree or whatever, that's huge. And let's say her young kids go to America and marry African Americans. What does that mean to the royal family? And what does the royal family start to look like?
The rest of the world. Woo!
Right, I was thinking,
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, well, I mean, the imagery is perfect for me, but a lot of people will faint just by thinking about that. They're not going to be happy. And because she seems quite confident in a way, some other members of the family are not as well. That might be a problem because she's not kind of softly spoken, head to the floor. She's had a career, a proper career beforehand, a woman with a career who's black from America. This is not something that's normal for that palace. It's not something they have to deal with or want to deal with. And then maybe I'm guessing for Harry, it's a case of, well, who does he think he is bringing in this type of situation? And apparently his father, he doesn't speak to his father. Maybe his father's saying things like that. You know, there's ways to behave, there's ways to do things. And if they're interrupted, it's a problem.
So basically, I hear you what you're saying, like who does she think she is? So let me ask you this, Damien, directly. And being you have lived in the United States. I remember you telling us that when you were here before. How long did you live in the US?
Oh no, I've been there a few times. I haven't lived there. The longest I've been is 3 weeks.
Okay, but you understand US. You understand American thought pattern a little bit more. The average UKer, as I call you guys. So, what do you think about that comment about asking what the complexion of the baby would be?
Well, I can see at first when I heard that, I thought, because in England people don't really, how do I say, they would beat around the bush. I couldn't imagine it coming out as blatant as that. But with that being said, around that table, they're all family, right? There's no other black people coming in there. So it makes complete sense that someone would turn around and say to someone, what color do you think the baby will be? Cocoa or, whatever, beige or, whatever they think. And I just, how do I put it? It's kind of expected that there's going to be deal. Yeah, it's expected. And in such an institution as well, which is completely white. I'm not saying it's right, that's for sure. But I kind of think as well, when she comes into it, and with Harry, when they're sitting down, they're talking, they're going to get married in a relationship. He himself, everybody knows their family, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't understand how they're shocked by that. What I'm saying is right, because I know my family, some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. But around the dinner table, someone might say something and I think, yep, that's you.
But you know what? Okay, this is my perspective. They've been white, pure white. So it's never been something they've had to think about or talk about. So like for instance, you go to some small towns in the US, depending on where, not so many as before, but there's some small white towns and they don't have issues with black people so much. When TV got going, then they started having their thoughts because TV portrayed us in a certain way. But many people like upstate Michigan or whatever, the white people didn't have any issues with black people because they didn't know them. They weren't around them. They didn't form the opinions anyway. They may have had biases, unconscious biases, but there wasn't. They don't sit around talking about niggers, you know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't matter to them. But now you got Negro in there. Okay, she might be a light skin. She might have straight hair and talk Americans English in a proper way. She's still Black, and so the potential for them to have a child that's darker skin is very real. And so now, yeah, they might talk about it. It might come up in a conversation where it never had to before. And I just think that's what's happened here. No, what surprised me is Meghan Markle's surprise. She said she didn't have any clue that the politics of the palace were going to be like they were. She didn't understand the tabloids' hatred and just they love to vilify someone and talk about someone is how they sell their papers. And they have a relationship with the institution. They have a relationship with them. So I'm surprised that she didn't know. I'm like,
I was
shocking
surprised that she was. Seabreeze, could you read the comments? Because I see people are really.
Yeah, Valerie said inbreeding is real. The queen is married to her cousin. So they've been keeping it they've been keeping it insular. They've been keeping it, a friend of mine told me, I think she's on here, Beth, she was saying that, if a person was different, say there are stories about there were a couple of family members that had autism, or they had some kind of special whatever. They weren't like your normal white kid or whatever, and were put into institutions because they didn't fit the perfect look of what a royal is. So they would hide them away for the entirety of their lives. I don't.
Anyway, they've always done that. They'll throw their kids in the institution in a minute.
Yeah, and so it's not just, yes, race is a big thing, class is a big thing, but even that, if they're different in any way, they don't represent the family, because the family represents perfection, which is why it's such an outmoded institution. It's none of my business if they want to, y'all want to keep kings and queens. That's cool, but they don't change. They don't want to change, but life is changing all around them, and it's just going to happen. And Meghan, I don't know what Harry was telling her about how things were, but you would think just being from here, she would know. It's not going to be easy. You don't stay white for centuries to have the first Black folk come up in there and they're going to be all good with it.
Well,
to
Harry
me, that's
said,
just ignorant.
I'm reading what Valerie says. Harry said there were red flags from the beginning. Why the fuck did you? If he saw red flags from the beginning, why didn't you do something, dude? You knew that shit was going to be.
What is there to do? Young people, man, when they get they come together, they don't care. They just love each other. They're not caring
These
about
millennials
the
do not
ramifications.
see race. I can honestly say these millennials in America do not see race. Is it like that over the UK with the millennials? Damien?
No, I'm afraid not. They like to say that over here, and people like to think it and pretend it. It's not. It's probably better in London, where I'm from. It's like, because it's big city and multiculturalism and everything. But I mean, one thing what shows it up and makes it aware is that football. You guys would call it soccer over here, is our biggest sport. Mm-hmm. And go to a football game and hear some of the things that I said by some millennials, and we soon realize what this country's about.
Oh wow!
So that's the way I see it. I can easily walk around where I live, and there's a sushi restaurant or whatever down the road, and it's all nice, whatever. But once you start peeling under the skin and under the surface, you just start to see how things are.
Yeah,
that's
I just
my
don't think,
opinion.
I just don't think Harry cared because he loved her. You know what I'm saying? I remember back my very first boyfriend. I went to prom a couple of times, and I had a boy in middle school that I would walk home with and stuff like that, give a kiss to. But my real first boyfriend, I was a senior in high school, and my mother flipped out. My white mother flipped out because he was white. And my mother, it was the very first time in my life that I had an argument with my mom, and maybe the last time I had an argument with my mom was about this guy because she didn't want me with him because she knew there was going to be issues, and I didn't give a crap. Neither one of us cared about anybody else's thought about us seeing each other. We were like, it's nobody else's business, it's ours. And when I asked her, I'm like, Mommy, you of all people, why would you say this? And she goes, because I've lived it. I lived it. You're going to have problems. I was like, well, this isn't the 60s. Well, I was absolutely wrong. And he was maligned. I mean, he used to be one of the most popular kids in school. He was maligned, a nigger lover, written all over his stuff. He went from being the most popular to the most despised by most people. He was totally mistreated his family. Some of his family were cool and some of them weren't. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, neither one of us cared because we just liked each other and we weren't thinking about what that meant. And I think that's what Harry and Meghan, they realized there might be issues, but their love overshadowed it. And they didn't think how deep it would be because they weren't paying attention to that.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think things have changed
what do you mean?
since then?
No, it depends on where you are. I mean, there are
where you're
definitely
from.
more interracial. There's a lot more interracial couples now. As a matter of fact, everybody's an interracial couple, especially black guys with white girls. It's just everywhere, just like my parents, you know. So it's become more common, but there are still pockets of people that don't believe in it. But what happened to, say, my boyfriend at the time would not happen today. They wouldn't have the nigger lovers. They might have somebody whisper that feels that's a, you know, Trump in the Trump faction or something. But the whole school turning against them, that would not happen today. Not here, because it's too prevalent. Almost everybody is light skinned or mulatto or mixed with something. Obviously now. There's a lot of folks like that. Now Chicago is different because Chicago is still segregated. You know, there's definitely interracial couples and stuff like that, but they live in specific places. They don't live everywhere because they are mistreated if they're lived in certain black neighborhoods, if they live in certain white neighborhoods, so there are places that they are, like Bolingbrook or Oak Park, Illinois. These are suburbs of Chicago that have a lot of different, they have people of different races, people of different religions, people, different gender, you know, whatever, sexuality. There are pockets like that in Illinois of folks where it's all mixed up and nobody cares. But you go live in a certain part of Chicago and you're mixed, you're still going to have somebody, you think you too good because your hair is straight. You think you all that, you old white nigga, you old black hunky, all that stuff. It ain't gone nowhere. I'm sorry. It's just still true in certain places.
So
yeah.
Daniel, is it a big deal? Is that a big deal in the UK, in London?
In London,
a lot of interracial relationships.
Oh gosh, yeah, across in Britain. I mean, I can't remember the exact statistic, but the majority of black guys in the UK date white girls and marry white women. So it's not 50-50. It's, you know, it's a huge situation happening. And like, say, I think I've seen some comedy shows in America where it's like the black guy becomes famous or does well, so he marries a white woman, and people are like making fun out of that and stuff. But over here, it's, yeah, you know, if you think of a prominent black figure, he's probably married or with going out with a white woman. That's generally how it is here. And no one really bats an eyelid in London. But, if I go up north, Middlesbrough, I spoke to a professional footballer in Middlesbrough, and it's a problem. I mean, he took his mixed race child to school, and he's obviously got a nice car, Bentley and stuff. And they was like, flash nigger and all that type of stuff. And But I couldn't imagine in London. It could happen if someone dropped their kid off to school in a Bentley and a white guy saying "flash nigger."
But for the most part, it's a regular way of life. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. It's a really regular way of life.
Yeah,
It's
people are just
is
getting
what it
with
is.
who they. People are just getting with who they are, who they like, I guess. Hi, King. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. So can we please dive into this whole the other thing that's big news right now? There is this whole women's movement that's happening. That was the tipping point was this woman who got murdered after 9 when she was out leaving her friend's house at about 9:30, and I knew
that I was just waiting for Bass to get here to play it.
Well, you know what? He might be here in 5 minutes. I don't know. Are we going to go straight through? No more commercials?
Yeah, we're gonna go straight through because we're at the bottom, so we'll just go straight through.
Well, we can give him another 5 minutes, but I
Well, you
just
go ahead and talk about it. Let me set it up on the.
Remember back
okay.
in the school days, Seabreeze, we had set it up on a projector.
Set it up. Yeah, because that's a whole issue. I'm excited about the things that are coming up out of. I'm very, very sad that another woman had to be killed by possibly by a police officer, nonetheless. But that has happened. That happens all the time. But the fact that they're saying the thing that stuck out to me was this whole curfew thing. How they were going around telling women, you need to stay in, don't come out after a certain time, for your own safety. And women are like, why do we have to be the ones on curfew? Why can't the people that are perpetrating these crimes be the ones on curfew? And they just happen to be, unfortunately, men. Why is it that we are always the one that's responsible for keep instead of you partnering with us to keep us safe? I thought that was rude.
It's disrespectful, I think, when they say things like that. It's like, and it's lazy. It's basically saying we don't care that much, and we're not prepared to go out on a limb and make sure you don't have a curfew. You can just walk them when you want, the same way a guy would. I mean, everybody has to be responsible, of course. You can't single out women like that. And I'm surprised by a lot of the reaction in terms of that. But sadly, I kind of think this is going to blow over. And in 3 months' time, any genuine type of reaction to what's happened, any helpful solutions will be on the back burner, and it will just go on to the next kind of thing. Because it shouldn't, this type of thing shouldn't just kind of happen and people react to it. I think there should be some sort of consistency before things escalate sometimes. It's reactional rather than being proactive on a consistent basis. And we need to see more of that.
So
otherwise it will dwindle away,
Here's the clip of the story I'm about to play right now.
It's here, 90 kilometers southeast of London. Police found human remains hidden in the woods. Today, they confirmed it's the body of Sarah Everard, and a serving police officer has been charged with her kidnapping and murder.
Wayne Cousins, age 48, has been remanded in custody and will appear at Westminster Magistrates Court tomorrow morning. Sarah's family, of course, have been informed of this development.
The 33-year-old vanished on March 3rd, walking home from a friend's in South London. For days, police scoured the area, looking for any trace of her. Then earlier this week, they turned their attention to Cousins' home in southeast England. The married father of 2 is part of the Diplomatic Protection Unit. The force itself is under investigation for how it has handled this case, and specifically allegations against Cousins for indecent exposure, just days before Everard went missing. For people in London, the case has sparked fear.
Literally where Sarah disappeared was meters away from my flat. Me and my flatmates have all been terrified, as have all my friends around the area.
That terror has pivoted into a heated conversation about violence against women. Though COVID restrictions mean vigils planned for the weekend are banned by police, this organizer says something needs to be done to deal with the threats women face.
Spaces should be safe for women, and that it's not our behaviour that needs to change. It's not about what we wear. It's not about what time we go out.
There are calls for the government to intervene and allow the vigil to go ahead. For now, the Prime Minister says it's a police matter.
I totally understand why this has triggered such a wave of feeling on this issue, on the issue of safety of women and safety of the streets.
An outpouring of anger for the murder of Everard, as her family grieve a woman they describe as beautiful, thoughtful, and incredibly kind. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, London.
Yeah, that's horrific. And the thing about it is, based on what you said before we watched the clip, you were saying that you think this might just be something that comes and goes. But a whole lot like the civil rights movement here, when it comes to people of color, this whole Black Lives Matter thing that happened because of the George Floyd situation, that was kind of like the tipping point. I think, unfortunately, people die. In this case, women will die until there is a point where people just don't want to take it anymore. And I don't know if this is that time. I just thought it was interesting that it happened in London.
Look, join us. I played the clip a little bit too early.
Baz knows the story. What's up, man?
Hello, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Everybody, Damien, I don't even know if you've met Baz before. Obviously, DJ Kid Disco has. Baz is a friend of mine who is also a podcaster and a creator and a designer and a whole bunch of stuff. And you're not in London anymore. You're from there. Where are you from again? What's the name of your
I live in a town, it's called Kettering at the moment. So I used to live in London, but I now live like just under, it's about an hour and a half out of London. Yeah.
And so we started off by talking about the racism and all of that kind of stuff, classism, all of that in London, and now we've moved into this whole conversation about the women that are tired in London of having to be the ones responsible for their own safety. So you have a relationship to this story. What do you think about all this?
Yes, it's very loose. So Sarah Everard's sister is a friend of my son's godmother. So that story for us started on Facebook, where it was her sister saying, my sister has gone missing. Then it notched up a level to local, and then obviously national, and then here you are in the States saying, can we talk about this? So, I mean, the impact has been huge. I think, yeah, it's a great big straw that's broken a camel's back. And again, with so many, so many stands and stances, it brings out an ignorance in people. There are so many of those who say these women shouldn't dress in a certain way, they shouldn't get so drunk, they shouldn't do this, they shouldn't do that. And it's that whole thing, it's not about protecting your daughters, it's about educating your sons. What I've seen around me is, ever since everybody has kind of gone, do you know what? I do have a voice, I do have a platform, I'm going to say it. It's not surprising, but it's shocking the amount of women who kind of go, do you know what? This has happened to me. This has happened to me. This has happened to me. And women have been being attacked on walks home, and in taxis since day one. And I think, yes, this unfortunate tragedy, it did need to provoke something big to happen. And we as men need to listen as opposed to object and kind of stand in the way and just, kind of say, what is it we can do? What is it we can do to help? What is it we can, who is it we can talk to? How is it we can support? And it was a bit like BLM when you had a lot of other races going, well, I'm not racist. What can I do? And it's a case of we need to stick up for the people who are being oppressed. And in this case, we need to stick up for the women. And we need to make sure they're being safe. We need to call out if we think they're being, wrongly done, or if, somebody who's being a bit grabby, or, so I think it's a very interesting time. There are these tragedies that people are now really paying attention to, which is a good thing, but in unfortunate circumstances. That's my opinion.
DJ Simpson says, sorry for the loss in connection with the young lady's family. And I think what you mentioned was interesting. This whole thing of the alcohol, how a person dresses, all that kind of stuff. And I know, coming from a family full of men and being surrounded by men at one point or another, that when guys are together, they're like, it's like, yeah, dude, it's like fun. And it's like, add alcohol to that, add, pretty women to that. I think then it comes down to kind of like how we have to have a designated driver.
Wow.
We need some designated, rationally thinking brothers. You know what I mean? Men need to.
But there's a point. There's a point you should know. You just don't cross. All right, you could be as drunk as you want to. That don't mean you should be walking around playing grab ass and
True.
But that's what
pulling Governor Cuomo. You just don't do that.
Well, that's what you would say, and you would be that designated speaker. Sometimes men have to, just like women need to protect each other, men need to protect each other too, because this has gotten to, I mean, it's always been a part of, the way things are, with men and women. Men are stronger, men are physically stronger, men have been in power times. So women have to stand up for themselves, but men have to stand up for them too. And when men start to stand up against their, guys and saying, look, I love you guys, but that's not cool. That's when it shifts and changes, when the conversations amongst yourselves shifts and changes. That's just a perspective.
But here's another perspective. While we at it, I just want to say this on behalf of Pepe Le Pew. Free Pepe. Pepe didn't mean it. Bring Pepe back. Like, you can't just, I mean, I get what's going on with the Me Too movement, and there's a lot of stuff inappropriate, but Pepe didn't mean no harm. Please bring Pepe back. Pepe Le Pew. Pepe Le Pew. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's my new campaign. Free Pepe. But
well, Pepe's not the problem. It's the men who created Pepe.
Well, I don't think they would. Well, yeah. I mean, Pepe was a serious grab asser. I mean, he was a hoe.
Yeah.
I mean, this is between a hoe and a dude walking around just accosting women. I mean,
I think in Britain we have a terminology. He's a little bit rapey. Is I think which is it's
wrong on so many levels.
But that I think it applies to Pepe Le Pew. And it normally goes with people who kind of look a certain way and not necessarily are a certain way, but they kind of look a little bit dodgy. And it's
like the
it's
creepy old guy, the Scooby Doo van riding around.
It's a little bit yeah.
I just think we've changed culturally. Chauncey said Pepe was thirsty. I just think we've changed. Things are evolving at a rapid wait. I mean, we've been wait for a long time in many ways. You know, we had the technological changes, we've had, you know, industrial changes, but the mindset of people stayed the same for a long time, and I think it's changing quickly, and so we got to catch up with these changes. It's like Pepe Le Pew was funny to me, but now I can see the point of view of them pulling them, because we're saying to children that are watching it, it's okay for you to be rapey, you know.
So who's next? Speedy Gonzalez?
But Speedy Gonzalez didn't do anything but be fast. Ain't no wrong with that. Ain't no wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong. Ain't
That's
nothing
just like
wrong.
the Redskins. It's
Oh,
called
yeah, I've heard about that.
the Washington football team. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
So do you still call them the Redskins if you're speaking with pals?
I do. I'm sorry.
I guarantee you that the people that were called Redskins are the ones that have an issue with it. You weren't called it the nigger, the LA niggers. I think you'd have an issue with it. It's the same.
No, I've called the Eagles that sometimes. Nah, yeah, you're right. I get it. I get it. I mean, it's like Darky cigarettes. They actually had cigarettes out back in the 40s.
Cool, Darky cigarettes.
Wow.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It's the same
Did
thing.
they have a black person advertising it? Sorry.
I mean, the slogan,
he caught me off guard with that one.
I mean, the slogan "Smoke a Darkie" would have so many wrong connotations in this day and age. Which, yeah.
You know what? Back to the stuff about women. Sophia, hey babe. She said the other day her teacher asked if anyone had gotten chased by a man on the subway, and every girl raised their hand.
Wow.
Yeah, this is why we need to get rid of Pepe, because these guys running around on the subway after these children all watched Pepe and thought, but that's cool. You know,
so now Pepe is a rapist? Pepe says,
okay.
No, we wasn't a rapist.
Okay. You have a daughter. How would you like someone acting like Pepe with your baby?
My daughter,
first of all, 13, 14 years old.
Okay, first of all, you gotta understand something about my daughter. My daughter always has been, always will be a thug. She'd have whooped Pepe's ass.
Yeah.
For real. My son and his older brother used to come get my sister to whoop somebody's ass that they had a problem with.
Yeah, that would have been me.
Listen, and I'm proud of that. I taught her quite well how to hold them hands. Yeah, I really did. It kind of bad.
But she has to fight. That sucks. She gotta fight Pepe. Why? Why she gotta live in a world where that is so common and so normal that we're laughing about it? She shouldn't have.
No, I agree with you. I've always felt like, you know, well, she brought on herself. Look at how she dressed. Man, she could be butt ass naked. There's just certain shit you don't do.
I think some women don't call out when they're being even passive aggressively attacked, if you like, and that could be, no, come on, I just want to talk to you, and somebody's grabbing their arm, and I think they stay calm for their own safety. So because they're not reacting in an explosive way, the situation, especially from afar, doesn't seem so wrong, if you like. So I think there's a line that blurs between, you know, what is being attacked and I think it's everything. If you feel uncomfortable, you're under attack. If you've got attention that is unwanted and it continues, that is being attacked. And I think, and like I said, you know, we as men need to look at how we behave.
Yeah,
and anyone in general. True. Yeah.
And I agree, and that's women too. You know, women do things sometimes that I'm just like for instance, I know we should all embrace our sexuality. We should all, but if you're gonna post your ass on social media, you're gonna have certain comments. So if you don't want that, you know, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your beautiful, beautiful body. You are gorgeous. I love the way you look. Your ass is perfect. Your titties are great. But if you're gonna expose yourself like that, it's going to affect how men treat you, how women treat you for that matter. You know, I did nudity in movies. You know, everybody saw these great big titties, right? So they know that, and so I have to a certain amount of public
Cinder,
stuff.
when we first spoke, Cinder, I've never told you this. You said we were talking about a movie. You said you should go watch this movie of mine. It's on YouTube, and I just got to know you for like an hour. And I was like, yeah, cool, I'll do that. And I watched the movie, and there you were naked. I was like, warn me. It was like walking in on my sister. Like, so I just
I thought it was just me. I can't watch Mo Better Blues no more. Thank you very much, Girlie.
But my point is, you know, that I was playing a role. Like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with the human body, male, female. It's a gift that we were given. But it's when you're gratuitous, when there's no purpose, it doesn't move the story. Then you're making a choice. You're not telling a story when you're wearing a thong and putting your ass in the camera. Excuse my language. You're not telling a story except for I want you to stop behind. That's gratuitous. Why? What's the point? Unless there's some kind of narrative or some kind of message you're trying to share, all you're doing is making it more difficult for all of us when you do it. And I am not a prude. Like I said, I love bodies. You know, I don't want to see everybody naked though. You know.
But I think though, even if there is an element of flaunting, if there's an element of, you know, I'm gonna pose in, and I see it, you know, it still doesn't give anyone the right to try and take it.
And that's my feeling.
Yeah.
Just because, like I said, you could be sitting there stark, butt ass naked. That still doesn't give you the right to be grabbing her ass. I mean, for real.
And you're right. I mean, but I'm just saying that there's responsibility all around.
Yeah.
There's responsibility all around. If you make choices, you're putting yourself in a position of insecurity. So you have to be conscious of that. But I'm not saying it's your fault. You shouldn't have to worry about walking home at 9:30 at night. You shouldn't have to. But because of the world the way it is right now, and the sluggishness at which it's taking us to shift and change when it comes to these things, you just got to take responsibility for your own safety. And you got to be smart. So men, chill. Women, be smart.
But then you got women that do dumb stuff like, and I want to, since Cynthia is here, a story that she put up on her show the other night, and I thought this was like totally so retarded that it just popped in my head. This young lady actually went, I think it was spring break or something like that, went to go to a concert out of state, went all the way down south somewhere with $400 and couldn't get home, and started a GoFundMe to get back home, and did something strange for some change to get back home. Again, putting yourself in situations of such.
Mm-hmm. Or like the lady in Australia, you know, the lady in
Well, she started a GoFundMe to get back home, and GoFundMe shut it down. I think she raised like $1,600 or some crazy shit. But as a woman, why would you put yourself in that position?
So Chauncey said, in this context, should we be talking about the Grammy performance of Cardi and Megan with the WAP? People are losing their minds. So did you guys see that?
I think. I've read about that, but it's a performance, so it's slightly different, I think, than, you know, someone just, like you said, on Instagram showing their ass or whatever. I think performers have to be allowed to.
But
I didn't see it. I've been seeing it, but I haven't seen the.
Well, there was a stripper pole involved. Put it that way.
Sounds like a great performance. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. there's a sort of balance and limit. I don't know.
But if you remember, Cardi B did a film about strippers, her and J-Lo and a few others.
Well, she was a stripper.
Figures.
I mean, that was her job. You know, she was a stripper, so
Yeah.
she comes to it. But again, should a stripper be raped just because they're a stripper? You know, should men grab on them just because they're dancing?
No,
You know?
it's a pay-to-pay situation. She's a business person. I've never seen prostitutes. I never thought prostitution, first of all, should have been illegal. Hey, somebody's doing something strange for some change right now. He just not on the corner.
Unfortunately, many of the prostitutes did not come to prostitution legally. They were kidnapped and forced into.
Now that should be illegal. But if a
You know what
woman
I'm
chooses,
saying?
no, that part. Don't get me wrong. That part.
Mhm.
That's a whole other thing. That's human trafficking. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if a old girl decide, listen, I got to pay these bills by Friday. I got to go do something. That's her prerogative. Hey,
Well, I think a lot of women do that anyway.
I'm saying
They just don't call it prostitution.
right. They call it Netflix and chill nowadays. But I'm just saying.
I mean, to me, you know, I think a grown person can make whatever decision they want to make about their body, you know. But if they put themselves out there a certain way, they know that they're going to be treated a certain way. And yeah, like for instance, I did this thing. I don't remember what it was called. I probably shouldn't mention it anyway, but I did a thing, and it was someone else's podcast or whatever they wanted to call it, a radio thing, live thing. Anyway, while we were talking, the most derogatory comments were coming up. It was insanity. I was like sitting there trying to keep a straight face. Well,
They were
all
saying-
along. No, not them. They were very cool and smart
on the live-
and constructive.
on the
But
live feed.
but on the live feed, for some reason, like half of the comments were perverts. And I don't even know why. I don't know why. I've never had that experience myself on any of these things that I do. We've been lucky, I guess. But this person, for whatever reason, has attracted this kind of commentary from a whole bunch of folk, you know.
Freaky diggies. Wow.
Christopher calls that quote unquote fake prostitution chicken and dick.
Right to it.
Chicken and dick.
Wow. Wow.
What a way.
Yeah,
the slogans with that is too much. Like the leg or a breast. Like, let's move on.
What's that?
I said the slogans with that is there's too many.
No.
Like the
Yeah.
leg or a breast. You know.
Simpson said, no wonder her son was tripping when she said, you know, she was going to do Netflix and chill. She didn't realize that's what it meant now. I'm so
It really
old
does.
because Netflix and chill was just that. Watch TV and go to sleep.
Nah. Yeah.
I didn't know it was what it was until I told a few people tonight. I'm probably going to Netflix and chill on my own. So I totally feel your pain on that.
That's hilarious.
Wait a minute, you said that?
Yeah.
We're old, Bass. We are old.
Yeah.
we
I'm
actually
sticking to
are.
that.
We just kind of mean what we say. You know, we don't know these undercurrent subliminal messaging that people.
Yeah, actually, it's more like Netflix and fall asleep and then you've
That's
got to
me.
find which episode you were on. Yeah, the next day. That's what that means in this age bracket. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Baz,
Wow.
we're almost to the end. Can you tell us right quick what your thoughts are about what happened in the Royal Palace and all of that?
Crikey. Okay. I feel Meghan and Harry get too much coverage for no reason. Well, I say no reason. We know the reason. I feel like the press has always jumped on the fact that Meghan is mixed race. I feel like, I mean, crikey, somebody high profile in TV lost their job last week because of it. I don't know why it polarizes everybody. I watched the Oprah interview. I didn't see what all the fuss was about, and I don't know if it was bad. The things that she was saying, I thought, actually, I kind of imagined it would be like that. I kind of imagined it would be like, well, you had this life, and then there was a lot of discipline and authority, and that was probably really alien to you. And you know, I myself am in a interracial marriage. A question to me was asked, how dark will your son's skin be when my wife was pregnant? So that to me is I don't know if the intent is always racist. It's a curiosity. I don't know why it's a thing. It could be underlying racism. I don't know. You know, she talked about her mental health. That must have been a hell of a pressure cooker. Why it was a post so much, well, you'll never know. I just think Meghan gets a bad press over here. She makes people question the monarchy, and people don't like to do that. People in Britain don't like you to tread on their traditions, and I feel like people like Meghan and Harry have said, hold on, this is a bit old hat, and people don't like it. That's my thoughts. And I think that's why the backlash, I think.
So real quick, both of you guys, as Brits, basically Harry's not liked very much these days. Is that
he's not liked by certain quarters for sure. But I think if you're kind of like anti monarchy and things like that, he's quite a popular figure. But if you're a royalist and all the rest of it,
so he's considered a rebel, so to speak.
Yeah, a tad bit. Yeah.
So he's kind of like on Royal Lives Matter, so to speak. Not to pun it, but seriously.
Yeah. He's a new version of Fight the Power coming out. Yeah, that's him.
So Valerie said to Baz, you don't think that racism is a factor? I don't think that's what you said.
No, I think there's tones of it. I think I said the question that was asked to me probably came from a different place than what was asked to Meghan. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't undertones of it. I think there's tones of it. And this is the problem with Britain. The racism is either really, really blatant or it's washed in the mix, so you don't necessarily pick it up. And I don't know if you'd agree with this, Damien, but I've found as a black person in Britain, sometimes you just kind of swim between the grooves and kind of go, do you know what? I'm just trying to get ahead. I'm not going to pay attention too much to that comment, or I'm going to stand up and fight against that one. I'm going to pick and choose. Yeah.
You have to pick and choose your battles. Sorry. And when you said about not being able to pick it up, it's almost like someone can say something, do something, or behave in a certain way, and you're walking away from them. You're thinking to yourself, "That was fucked up. That was a racism situation happening there." And it's you're constantly in certain situations like that. Like because before you came, we spoke earlier about the color of the baby potential question that was given. And you said you've had that with your wife, like what color will the baby be? And I agree with you. It could be just like a genuine question, like will the baby have curly hair? Will it be tall? Will it look like you? Will it look like the wife? But it's a lot of the times these things are said and you just don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Britain is really, really skillful with their racism in ways that maybe other countries aren't. Because I've literally worked across many parts of Europe, gone on holiday, and the racism is there. Like they'll just say, they'll just say what they're thinking. Whereas in England, it's not always the case. And I think that's one of the biggest problem fighting it. Sorry, I interrupted you.
That's all right. Also, sorry, I was just going to add to the point. Both Megan and I are lighter skinned as well. So there is that factor. Just how dark will your baby get because you are quite light skinned as a black person?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also,
so
big up Chauncey.
So do you think that? Sorry, I'm taking it. It's not for me to ask questions.
Yeah. No, go for it.
So do you think if you were darker skinned, they would have asked that question? Because I believe it doesn't matter. They're going to ask that question.
I think yeah, I'm trying to see the big picture because you never know really the intent of why you have to pay attention to so many different variables, and it could be as much as, well, you're not very dark skinned, so how dark? Or it could be, listen, this is a community of white people. How dark is your baby going to be? You know what I mean? You just can never tell. And to agree with your point, yeah,
you can never tell, but it's race.
Yeah.
So my point is, regardless if you're light skin or dark skin, that question is going to come. And I think what the problem we have is we try and be sympathetic to the person asking the question, and I kind of think that has to stop. And the variables have to be removed. It's like it's about race.
Valerie said there are multiple conversations regarding his possible complexion. They didn't say just one. It was multiple conversations. She said that takes away innocence, right? It wasn't an innocent conversation. You ask somebody, what are you?
Yeah.
Or if they mentioned it was racism. I'm sorry. Maybe that's a black American's point of view, but
right.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I think it is racism. Yeah, I do agree. It's like I said, it's this ambiguous. Is it coming from this bad place, or is it an inquisitive? Is it coming from a place of ignorance? So you can be racist and ignorant. But and we've spoken about this. You give them the knowledge; they're not ignorant anymore. Or
I don't know about that.
Well, you'd like to.
I'd like to think.
Try.
Yeah. You give them the knowledge, and they become even more racist. So you
you know what, gentlemen and lady, this is such a deep conversation that I'm inviting both of you UK brothers back, because this got deep at the end. Damn. What say you, Seabreeze?
Oh, I could have these guys on as often as they'd like. Definitely.
We need to continue.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Unfortunately, we have to get ready to
wrap it up.
Yeah, because we got this other one. Can I play? Yeah, we got this wonderful show coming up real soon in about 2 hours. As soon as I find it. Wait a minute, where is
It's the PPC Radio Show, hosted by Cinda Williams and co-hosted by Shelly Williams. Music by All Night Long. DJ Joe Storm on the Grown Folks Radio.
So who you got today?
Yes. Today we are going to have a great show. We have Lavelle Smith Hall Lish. She is this phenomenal speaker and leader in Chicago community, but I think her platform is reaching out, at least nationally, Logics, and she's great. And we're going to have Pastor Andre Mitchell on to give some biblical support to the conversation we have about how to adapt with life struggles. So I'm very excited about that. And Jill, I'm sorry?
CJ.
Oh, gosh, yes. CJ Engel is also on today. He is going to be taking the first half hour to talk specifically to those people that have been recently divorced and beginning again and how to rebuild your financial lives after such a traumatic time when you lose so much. So,
And I got an important tax question that relevance to stimulus for him.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we're going to be, that'll come at the end.
That's gonna come at the end. But I do got a question. Yo, brother, can you help a brother out? I don't want to. I don't want to be wearing an orange jumpsuit in a couple months. So help me out.
That's important. We take care of that today. So yeah, so it's gonna be a good show. So if you're awake on the other side of the pond, join us. If you are here, please 2 to 4 Eastern. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Thank you to all my friends. I love you all for your support. Please come back Wednesday, Thursday, the same time. We are here at the Melanated Morning Show, and in the afternoons on Wednesday, 2 to 4 Eastern, PPC Radio Show. Thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
Simpson.
and we'll be back in a couple of hours. I'm gonna go order some Taco Bell from DoorDash because they stole my food the other day. Damn it! I ordered a hoagie and I ain't get it.
That sucks. That sucks.
And I had really been getting high that night. Like, that's some bullshit.
Damien and Bass, thank you guys for your perspectives.
Thank you guys.
love having you.
Let me come on.
Thanks for having me.
I
Great
love having
talking to
you
you.
as my friends.
Right. And
Right back
Bass,
at ya.
I never got a chance to ask you this important question, Bass, because Damien, Bass, they got good weed where you at?
I don't know, Your Honor. Probably. I don't know. Damien, what are you saying?
No, I literally don't know.
Okay. I honestly don't know.
We've
See,
got
Breeze,
nice.
you gotta start booking some pieheads, damn it.
Do you drink beer? We've got loads of nice beer.
Okay.
We will see you guys tomorrow. Coming up right now on Folks Radio. It's Cool DJ Frank with the Lunch Buddy Mix. We'll see you guys in a couple hours. Say goodbye,
Bye.
Grace. Do you think?
Bye.
Bye.
That's
You
a
think-
wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Mm.